What are some skinny guys' problems no one talks about? I was very skinny until I was about 22. Some of the problems. You feel the cold. Jeans generally don't come with a waist size smaller than 28 inches. So belts are a must. You have to put extra holes in belts and cut the excess off. Clothes just hang off you and don't fit. You'll get sent flying if someone jumps into you in a mosh pit. So you basically can't mosh. It's like being the ball in a pinball machine. Cats will try and sit on your lap, but they'll slip into your thigh gap. You'll be called all sorts of names: lanky streak of piss, beanpole, skinny mini, skin and bones. I was told by someone you look like Joseph Gordon-Levitt point in that film where he has cancer. People always think you're ill, and for all those that keep asking, I started putting on weight at about 20 by addressing my diet and starting to exercise. By 22 I was a normal weight. Some of that weight gain was attributable to my metabolism slowing down, which is pretty common as you get older. I see in the comments a lot of people saying they could eat what they want and never gain weight, yet they are saying things like bags of M&Ms for dinner, but no mention of what they eat the rest of the day. Just because you have one high calorie meal a day doesn't mean you're not a deficit for the whole day. My top tips for skinny guys wanting to gain weight: never ever skip breakfast. Make it a substantial meal: cereal, toast, eggs, fruit, yogurt. Get lots of variety. Squeeze in a second breakfast or brunch. Doesn't have to be a huge meal. Make lunch as big a meal as your evening meal. Don't waste your appetite on like sweets, candy, or energy drinks. You don't have to eat like a bodybuilder and be in the gym. Just really evaluate if you're consistently getting enough calories in a day. Make them healthy calories and pick up a sport or exercise. Doesn't have to just be weightlifting. Apparently lanky men have a higher chance of suffering pneumothorax/collapsed lungs. Correct me if I'm wrong. A couple of years ago, I suffered a collapsed lung and the doctors told me that men with my body type are just susceptible to it. IDK if that's true or not, but I believed it. Apparently lanky men have a higher chance of suffering pneumothorax/collapsed lungs. Correct me if I'm wrong. A couple of years ago, I suffered a collapsed lung and the doctors told me that men with my body type are just susceptible to it. IDK if that's true or not, but I believed it. It's true. I had to. The cow goes moo. Sorry, I was on a rhyming thing. Yes, it does happen. And docs told me the same thing. Since I had to about a week apart, counting from discharge, they put me in for keyhole surgery. Second time was actually funny, reassuring time. This is still rare skinny people, plus it hurts, but more often than not you're in and out. Just have to get lightly stabbed and drain the air, likely not stuck with a chest tube like me. The double standard. Everyone seems okay with pointing out how skinny we are, but are offended when we talk about how fat they are. Body shaming is body shaming. Had my former boss's boss tell me, "You need to eat more," I blurted out, "You need to eat less." Yeah, point didn't go very well. For men that are not just skinny, but actually suffering from eating disorders, it's more difficult to get help because it's seen as a female disorder. Similarly, you don't need to be underweight to have bulimia and you don't have to purge either. If you're kinda athletic, people will even compliment you for your achievements and think it's funny how much you can eat in one sitting, not knowing they're actually talking about an eating disorder. Makes women I dated feel insecure about their weight. Even if they are 150 pounds they feel like they are overweight. Been there. I wrestled in high school and one time mentioned having to make weight for an upcoming meet in front of my girlfriend. She was shocked when she heard my weight class, 135 pounds, and whispered something like, "That's what I weigh." She was probably 5 feet 8 inches and slender. I was just 6 feet 1 inch and a stick. We are constantly looked down on as if we are meth heads and that anyone bigger than us assumes we are weak. Agree with the first, but disagree with the second bit. I'm skinny myself and do judo, so I'm fully aware that, in general, people that are bigger than us are stronger than us, even if they are overweight and don't have more muscle than us. That weight is a strength advantage. Just being real and honest. That being said, you are still right in saying, just because we are skinny doesn't mean we are weak. I'm a relatively strong person for my weight, but I only weigh 150 lbs. Me wrestling anybody over 180 pounds is rough. I *may have more muscle than them, but that weight will just wear me out so fast, win in a minute or two, or get winded and pinned by their weight advantage. Enter fights you can compete in is my opinion on this one. Because you're skinny, people feel like it's okay for them to say why are you so thin? You need to eat more. What you don't enjoy food, when they would never say the reverse to a person who is overweight. I eventually got really sensitive to this. I was originally skinny due to a health problem. I would have loved to have been able to eat more. Can't gain weight. I went my whole 20s being 5 feet 10 and around 140 to 145. Thought I couldn't gain weight for the life of me. Then at 28, I started actually tracking my calorie intake. I was eating maybe 1500 calories on average and 2000 calories on a good day. That's not enough to gain weight if you are even a moderately active person. Once I added a meal in between breakfast and lunch to get to 3000 calories and forced myself to stop skipping meals and stick to weightlifting, I was able to get up to 168 pounds in about 9 months. The shitty part is you can't stop. Once I relaxed my calorie intake again, I dropped right back down to 150 lbs. It sucks. It has to be a permanent lifestyle change. But yes, I know us skinny people think we eat a lot. We don't. Track your calories. You'll be shocked. It's simple physics. I used to be a really skinny and all of my skinny friends would always ask how I escaped it. Simple answer is, track your calories and lift weights. 99% of them say I already eat so much I just can't gain weight. Then you have them track their calories for a day and they realize they are only eating 1200 to 1800 calories in a day. This is malnourishment and not healthy for you. Genetics certainly have a role in body composition, but you are not doomed to be skinny just because of it. It will take some effort and lifestyle changes, but it is absolutely doable. Always looked down on in the workplace. I worked in construction for a few years, and whenever there was something somewhat heavy to lift, the guys would laugh assuming I couldn't handle it and make jokes. Was almost a daily thing. I'm one of the skinniest guys and easily one of the strongest. This guy couldn't lift a roll of TPO roofing. Admittedly they are pretty heavy, but I picked it up with ease. BCI lift. Also, I'm not bone skinny. I'm actually almost overweight in the BMI, but unless you have a beer gut at my job, you're skinny. Just want to say thanks for this thread. Yesterday I had to deal with another round of being told how skinny I was, how people worry about me, whether it's intentional, that I'm so thin, and I'm just expected to laugh it off, or be appreciative of the concern. And so this subject was on my heart already. I don't at all claim to know or want to compare my experience to those of overweight people. The culture there is different and has deep roots and hurts a lot of people very deeply. That said, while I don't want to make this the suffering Olympics, being visibly underweight has its own culture and stigma that is just not widely perceived as an issue right now. People feel at liberty to publicly compare you to a pencil, laugh about how the wind will blow you over, ask whether you eat at all, call you skinny as a nickname, and the recipient, who's guaranteed to have heard all this dozens or hundreds of times, is supposed to not be affected, despite the awareness that commenting to such a degree on other aspects of people's appearance can lead to body image issues, among other things. Compounding that is the persistent perception of men as generally bigger. I've seen lots more male body positivity lately, which is great, but I've personally never seen genuinely skinny guys included in those, which isn't to say that positivity doesn't exist, and again it's not about making this the suffering Olympics, only to comment on an issue which I actually have personal experience with. You're always nauseous, because if you don't eat within 4 minutes of the moment you discover you're hungry, then it's too late, and you won't be able to stomach eating very well. You just have to force yourself. People constantly clown on you for it. You can't get enough energy to work out well, because you don't have an appetite to eat enough carbs to support working out. Some girls will laugh at you're skinny and constantly remind you of it, but since you used to get bullied for it just makes you feel like I'm 165 pounds at 6 feet, but was 115 pounds up to my sophomore year of college. Being constantly told by women that you look like a beanpole/toothpick, or having them make comments about being able to snap you in half isn't fun. especially when you're into them. Good luck with putting on weight for any guys out there eating this who have a fast metabolism. Yeah, I was 5 feet 11 and like 120 pounds for a number of years, and random women felt comfortable telling me it was unattractive to them in so many ways. It did not help with confidence at that young age. Maybe they thought I was making a choice and they were helping me out, who knows.